What's going on, family? Kevin and Jesse here with you guys, the Elitestateofmind podcast, where, as always, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. Just how you doing today, man?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. Very, very eventful last few days, but doing well. Yeah. Definitely doing well, family. Make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram page. Make sure you hit that little bell on YouTube so you get notified every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. as Jesse and I are going to take you guys to work. Family, last week we did an episode, part 1, on fatherhood. So Jesse and I would like to continue that discussion. Last week we talked about kind of the first steps into fatherhood. What were some of your emotions? What were, maybe what were some of the things you learned in the early years, of being a dad? But then there were some things that some people had asked us about, getting a little bit deeper into this time around, and some things that we wanted to take a little bit deeper dive into this time around as well. Jesse, where would you like to start today?
Man, I'm gonna start by saying this. Let me preface it, man. That there are many people out here that, along the way of their journey of life, they get judged, right, for their humanness, for being human. I just want to make sure that, man, the people that the family that's rocking with us, and that we all know that we don't allow people to put us in these boxes and keep us where their mind can only keep us.
True.
Right? So if something in life transpires, just understand that the moment that you ask for a particular forgiveness has been granted to you. Mm-hmm. So you're no longer required to hold on to your past.
Right.
It's your job to be concerned about where you're going, where you are presently, and where you're going. So as we gear into this fatherhood discussion, just know as a father that is our job.
Yes.
Right? So that we're dealing with, each other, and we're dealing, the respective children, in knowing that, hey, they need a level of grace.
Right.
We can't deal with them so harshly that, every time they make a mistake, I got to bring the hammer down. That's not what you do, Father. That's not what you do.
Very true. And I believe we talked about it last time, that if you are of the household of faith, your Creator hasn't given you what's due you.
Right.
He hasn't rewarded you according to your transgressions or your iniquities.
Right.
What type of fathers would we be that for every small hiccup, every small mess up, and even for the big ones, because I know I've messed up big in my life, to me, in my reality.
Yeah.
Right. And how it has, impacted and affected me. Yeah. But I wasn't granted due, the reward I should have been of horrible consequence, should I say.
Right.
So like Jesse said, you're going to change. You're going to learn along this journey. And one thing I was thinking about as we're getting ready for this, for this episode, is that fathers are farmers. And what I mean by that is, as you go and you're getting ready to become a dad, so many of us then we go, we get to go at it and we go recruit knowledge. Yeah. We begin to read books. We begin to talk to, our fathers or uncles or older cousins who, have already, either, got older kids or started their journey into fatherhood. So you're tilling the ground, right? Because you got a seed that's getting ready to grow. And you're tilling the ground, but you got to continue to take care of that seed. You got to continue to take care of that seed. Make sure that it's getting proper sunlight. Make sure that you're keeping, predators away, bugs or other things that might come along to rob you of your seed in the harvest, right? So the things that might be predators, it might be bad friends, might be bad family members, might be, bad language, as we talked about, having the language of a loser instead of developing the language of a winner. Right. So make sure, fathers, that we're being good farmers, watching over, you got to have a watchful eye over your crop, over your farm, over your flock. You making sure you're keeping, only good things, in their presence. Because if you don't, it's so crazy that if I allow, TV to raise my kid, it sure will.
Oh my goodness!
If I'm too lazy to sit down and teach and show love with my child, something else will. But I want to congratulate all the dads that take time out
for sure
to be there, to make sure that hey, Dad, can we go outside and play? Oh, hey, Dad, can we go to the zoo? Hey, Dad, can we go XYZ?
Yeah.
Can you see so many videos of dads that got to get up on stage and do some ballet with their daughter,
right?
Because she might be a little bit nervous. We want to commend those dads,
Definitely.
commend those dads that are doing things that fathers are supposed to do.
Yes,
keep doing it. Mm-hmm. And hey, if this hits you and you're not doing all the things you should be doing, no better time than today.
Yeah.
Than to change and get better. Because even if you're doing great things, you can do even greater.
Yeah,
you can do some greater works. But one thing I do want to get into, one thing we talked about last week was in our scriptures, it says not to provoke our children to wrath. Now, obviously, we've all heard, we get the spare of the rod, spoil not the child. But then there has to be a transition. Right, there has to be a when your kids no longer become children, when they get into adulthood. We have to, as you said, how do I talk to them? How do I deal with them? Am I dealing with them in love? Do I wrap what I tell them in love? Do I learn how to take the gloves off a little bit?
Right.
Do I learn how to back when you was 5 or 10, I might have told you what to do, right? As you get older, we have to make some choices because what grown individual still wants to be told what to do?
None that I know of.
How do we make the transition, Jesse, so that we don't provoke, so that we keep a good relationship with our children? Again,
like you said, it's the manner in which you're speaking to them. That starts before they even obtain language. That's your job, as a father, to give them the dialect, to give them the language of a winner. That you're speaking. I don't think many fathers understand that you have a prophetic, if you will, ability through your particular language.
Ooh.
Right, and that's part of your mantle as a father to speak to who they are and to who and what they will become. That's part of your job. And so if you haven't been doing that, I encourage you to look into it, to see. You don't have to take my word for it, but if you begin to seek different, like you said, different scriptures and different authors and readers about neuro-linguistic programming. That is a subject that if you're a father and that you haven't gotten into, I implore you to please do, because it is a powerful tool, a tool that you need to be using, not just for your children, but for yourself. And so you won't provoke them when you understand that what you say matters. What you say becomes the voice for them as they progress in their age. It becomes their inner voice as they deal with conflict. It becomes their outer voice when they deal with other people.
Sure.
So you have to understand that what you say, how you say it, when you say it, and the tone in which you say it is going to be extremely effective in how they develop from, their infancy to, their adolescence.
Right.
So you don't want to provoke them. Stop. We'll just keep it real simple. Stop doing things to poke their particular bear. Just because they're a smaller person doesn't mean that they don't have one.
Fact.
They're still a human being. They're still a person. Stop doing things that are going to irritate them just because you can, because you're the parent.
Right. Because you can beat up a 2-year-old.
Right. Like, they won't always be 2. They won't always be that small.
And you won't always be 20.
You're going to be old one day, and they're going to be the young, vibrant. So provoking them, again, is how you're speaking to them. They like Star Wars, but you want to come in because they didn't do something that you asked them to do, instead of you actually teaching and training them, because a part of that is exhibiting patience. Sure. And you're going to have to repeat yourself numerous times.
Let's stay there. Just for a moment.
Okay.
Because what sense does it make? And obviously, I know you heard this, and so did I. I don't want to repeat myself. Okay. I've been in this world, maybe I'm 5, 6, 7. I don't have life figured out.
Right.
Maybe my ability to focus isn't the greatest. I'm 33.
Right.
And sometimes I still have a little trouble focusing.
Yeah.
But I want this 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old to get what I said do first time get to doing it and not be distracted by Daniel Tiger
Right.
in his greatest adventure.
Right.
That might have been, playing on the TV.
Right.
Or by maybe their favorite toy caught their eye. Or just a bug flying around.
Right. Right.
Why is it that was the acceptable practice? And more important so, how do we get to it's okay to be apt to teach before we're apt to beat?
Right. So it was acceptable because it was a time for us as a community, as a whole, as a people, that survival was the utmost.
Okay.
And it hinged upon you being able to hear something one time and execute on it at a very high level. Because if not, it would cost you your life.
Okay.
If not, you'd be trumped up. If not, you become the next Emmett Till.
Sure.
Right? So
makes sense.
There's nothing wrong with the statement. The statement has to be moved into the 13 to 18-year-old age group. Right? At that point in time, I should have, like you said, I'm apt to teach. I should have been teaching you from 0 to 12 years. Okay, yes, we're repetitive. Right? Because the more you repeat something, the more it's ingrained, right, on your mind and your heart and your soul. It becomes a habit, right? So you have to continue to do that. Okay, so for 12 years, if I'm doing that for you, if I'm actually teaching you, if I'm actually aware as a parent that I have to exhibit a high level of patience, because like you said, at 5 or 6, you just got here. At 5 or 6, a butterfly goes by and you go, oh my God, that is the best butterfly I've ever seen in my life.
In the history of butterflies.
Where is it going? And so you run off and you chase it, right? We can't get mad because we told this child to go pick up some stuff and they get distracted. And then, you come around the corner and it's World War III because this 6-7-year-old only picked up 70% of the room.
You super kicked him like you're Shawn Michaels. Sweet chin music.
Which is terrible. When we're supposed to go, oh my gosh, hey, I see you picked up almost all your room. You did great. So next time we do it, let's go ahead and pick up the entire room. And here's what this looks like. So you enter again into their space and go, okay, you see where you forgot to do this right here? So this goes over here. And we're going to move this. And this goes over here. And make sure you fluff the pillow when you put it back on here. Apt to teach. Right? Because again, you're teaching them, oh man, this is how patient I'm supposed to be.
Right.
This is how I receive. This is another form of love that I'm going to receive. Okay, this is how I speak. I shouldn't always get upset. So again, it transitions to being able to control the emotions.
How somebody deals with me in grace. So, I don't know if there are many more things that are important than showing our children love, because then, again, as they get older and they're going to mess up, because there was only one perfect person,
right? Only one, right?
We want them to run to us.
Yes.
Not from us.
That's right.
You want them to run to you in their time of need or distress. So therefore you can walk that journey with them.
Yes.
And hopefully, prevent some foolishness.
Yeah. That's a big thing. Being able to, like you said, hey, if there's another safe space for you to actually be able to run to me, and then I'm able to undergird you and let you know that, hey, your mistakes they're not permanent. Right. And so you're not stuck there. You're not stuck on, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. I can't believe. Because we got too many adults right now that are stuck on what they've done in their, teens and 20s and 30s.
Because of some parental red flags.
Right.
Not enough parental safe spaces. Fathers, again, I want to encourage the ones that are being apt to teach, that are showing love, that are, giving grace and doing those things, because the first tenet of our faith system is love. Because I'm supposed to show myself, like you said, a high quality of love
all the time.
But if I'm not showing anybody else a high quality of love, it's probably because I don't love myself.
Right.
And so, fathers, if we're going to love our kids, let's again make sure we love ourselves.
Yes.
Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. So therefore, you can now pass these things down.
Yeah.
Once you are blessed to have children, that you are able to teach them the good things.
Yes.
And one thing, I do want to, again, guys, get into, fathers, it's okay that just because your father did something, all children are different.
Yes.
And times are different.
Times are different. Yes.
It's okay to no longer do those things. Because like you said, in that day, you had to.
It was a must.
You had to listen and get something the first time. Because it was life-threatening.
Yes.
Not saying it can't be today.
Right.
But in so many situations, it may not be.
Not as much.
So it's okay to cast off some of the things that used to be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely okay, fathers, to cast off some of the ways we used to eat.
Yes.
Some of the ways that you were spoken to as a child.
Yes.
Just because, you might have been called stupid, even in joking. Just because you might have been told that task was too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Let's begin. And again, if you're a father that encourages your kids, we see that so often.
Yeah.
I want to drive home the point. Continue to encourage.
Yeah.
Continue to show the love. Continue to have that admiration, for them. But again, kids so often, and we all see this, if you're a father, you know this, kids learn so much more from what you do than from what you say. Mm-hmm. You'll see your kids doing things that you haven't even spoken about. Right. And a lot of these things are innate. It just comes out and it's in their DNA because it's in yours. Right. And it's just ingrained in them. Mm-hmm. Like my son, he'll get his blanket and he'll bite it. I do that. Mm-hmm. And he just lays there and then he takes him a nap. Yeah. Right? And so all of these things, fathers, your kids are watching. Mm-hmm. So let them see you loving yourself. Yeah. Let them see you with great, self-love routines and self-care. Yes. Yes. Let them see you reading. Mm-hmm. Let them see you journaling, meditating. Mm-hmm. Let them see you pouring into others, giving, and then being long-suffering and kind. I'm not telling you not to defend, yourself or your family. Right. Because that's definitely a part of being a father.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely a part of one of your first tenets. Mm-hmm. You got to provide and protect. Yep. Right? But some of that protection doesn't always come in a physical form of protecting from an outside assailant. Mm-hmm. You got to defend from all threats, foreign and domestic. That's right. And some of those threats can be in yourself. Yeah. But if you got good qualities going, continue them. But again, there's nothing wrong with getting a mentor. Mm-hmm. Because so many of us, now, we've definitely learned the power of affirmation. Mm-hmm. It's something we read about, a long time ago. Yes. Right? Something we've heard about, but now we see it materialize itself in the real world, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Right? And so if you want your kids to become, doctors, lawyers, whatever the case may be, talk to that dad who has a son or daughter who's a doctor, who's a lawyer. That's right. What are you telling your kid? What did you tell them when they were little? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I believed in them. We said our affirmations, and I poured into that thing. Yes. Right? What for you, made you make that change and really go, maybe I should look into these affirmations. Maybe I should look into this encouragement more so than I should, the way I was. Maybe some of the things that I had, when I was growing up.
Well, it's one of those things, like, I've always liked words. Mm-hmm. I always liked language. My mom was big on that. So, I just stuck with me, and I carried that on. And so, as I continue to fall in love with reading along the way, you get into that self-development, that personal development. Mm-hmm. You understand that, okay, I need to grow. Right. Right, I need some things I need to work on. So throughout that journey, and you're reading different things, and then you're looking towards those who are successful. They're living the life that you want to live, okay? And so along that course and path, we say it all the time. Success leaves clues. Yes, it does. So if you seek it out, and that's what this Proverbs is telling us to do, we're to seek after that. Okay, that knowledge and that understanding, and all you're get an understanding. Okay, so I need to go and search out some things that I don't know about. And so, looking into, like you said, that led us into, the Napoleon Hills and the Millionaire Mind, the Millionaire Next Door, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that Think and Grow Rich. We're looking at, emotional intelligence. We're looking at the power of language. I'm reading, again, the autobiography of Malcolm X, and the thing that sticks out is that this guy was able to change himself. I keep saying that because that was a focal point in reading that. The same thing with, Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from Birmingham jail. You're sitting in jail, but it was your words that were able to change not only himself, but to those who were able to read that letter at that time, and those in the future he's still able to affect from the words, because the words still resonate now. Right. So I'm looking at it and going, okay, then the thing that's going to matter is, that spoken word. If it coincides with my faith system, I'm looking at, okay, growing up, parents do the best that they can do.
Sure.
They only know what they know, right? And so, okay, the good things we hang on to. The things that weren't so good, we have to immediately cut.
Let that go right now.
Okay? And so one of the things that, hey, I can improve, now that I'm a parent, I can improve upon how I speak, regardless of what age that, my child may be.
Right.
Okay. So, like you said, if I ask those who are successful, hey, what is it that you say to your son or daughter, whatever, they give me the recipe. It's my job to take that and then make it my own.
Right.
And so I'm able to do that, again, by increasing my own vocabulary, by increasing my own understanding, to understand the etymology of these particular words, their root words, their ending, the suffix, prefix, all of that, so that I can give it to him, so that it empowers him, right? The words that are written in our scriptures are done so in a very particular manner.
Very true.
Right? And so they're done so because how you say a thing is what brings that thing
To
about.
life.
Right?
To life or to
and
death,
so,
like
yeah,
you said.
So that is a key for us as fathers, as we speak to our children, as we speak to those who are inside of our realm. Okay, I have to say my word, be careful about them, and say them in a particular manner. So I should always be thinking before I speak, and not just speak haphazardly.
Not just pop off.
Right? Yeah, I can't do that. Not as a man, I can't do that. Right?
Favorite line from The Godfather: "Women and children can be reckless.
Yeah,
Men cannot."
men cannot.
And that was one of the lines in that movie that's always stuck with me. Because as a man, you cannot. It will never end well, as we just saw.
Yeah,
it will never end well.
No, it won't.
As we just found out. Family just. And I think about that situation.
Yes.
Was there a father present? Was there a father figure present?
I don't know.
To keep that individual from going down
Right.
that road and that path?
All right. I don't know.
I would probably say no.
You would say no, but then again,
Or maybe they weren't good.
Right. Even though he was present, he didn't offer his presence. Right? So
Presence doesn't equal presence.
Right. He might have been there, but didn't pour anything into the to the fella. So then we have that falsehood of masculinity that we saw the display of.
Right.
I'm
not gonna say it.
Not
gonna say it.
Don't do it.
I'm not gonna say it.
Don't do it.
Let me get myself together. Oh Lord, the Lord is good.
Yes.
He is. But and it's so crazy now, and that's the thing, right? And one thing, fathers, is once you become a father to not only your children, but all the children out there.
Yeah.
Because now everywhere you go in life, there's going to be somebody you have an opportunity to pour into. There's going to be someone that you have an opportunity to help teach,
right.
to help get out of a bad situation,
right.
to help better themselves.
Right.
Some of me and my nephew's conversations, I just love them so much, right? Because they're so great. And so one thing, fathers, I want to tell you is that the conversations you have with children, they have wants, needs, desires, goals, dreams, aspirations, even at the young age of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's no reason not to pour in and cultivate, to lean in, to press into those things, and try to see where that goes. Because some of those conversations, they're gonna blow your mind.
Yeah, they are.
They're going to take you to a place where you're like, I wasn't thinking about this at the age of 7. I was mad that Tommy came on the Power Rangers and whooped them brothers up for 5 good episodes, which was 5 weeks of my life. I had no clue if the Power Rangers was gonna make it out or not. I mean, this brother hopped on the scene, and here's what make it so bad. He came on the scene with a puffy shoulder vest, and a magic flute, and beat up the Power Rangers for 5 weeks.
That's terrible.
And beat them down for 5 weeks.
Oh,
and
man.
Then stole one of them girl. And then stole one of them girl.
Wash them puffy vests. Wash them.
Probably because Tommy ain't had no daddy.
Right.
So he was out fighting everybody. But then Zordon became his father figure. And he turned out to be a good ranger. I digress. But, it's just so crazy now, the minds of children, how they think and how they operate. Mm-hmm. And you wonder sometimes, did I have thoughts like this when I was a child? Because maybe you don't remember.
Yeah.
Right? Because you push some things out. And did my father take time to cultivate? Mm-hmm. Because, again, we see on the other side, we see fathers that have cultivated those things. Yeah. And now those kids are doctors. Mm-hmm. Now those kids are working at NASA. Now they're doing the things that they wanted to go do. Mm-hmm. So I can't stress enough the importance of, as you talk to your children, talk to hear, mm-hmm. talk to listen. Yeah. Because they are telling you some things that they want to go achieve in life, that they want to go be great at. Right. And now once they've said it, even at 6 or 7, if they say, I want to be an astronaut, don't look at them like they're crazy. Mm-hmm. Pour into that. Right. What might be the first step? Mm-hmm. Is the first step taking them to the planetarium? Mm-hmm. Is the first step watching a documentary? Yep. Maybe they say, I want to be a mechanic. And now you buy them a little set of tools. Right. And when you go to change your oil, you do that. You take them out there with them. Maybe they say they want to be a chef. Mm-hmm. And so you're learning how to cook with them. Maybe they say they want to do ballet. And you're learning 1st through 5th position. Right. Do what you gotta do. Whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. If we will pour into our kids as fathers, if we will, take these conversations not lightly, not haphazardly, right, but wholeheartedly, and go, oh, okay. Well, let's see where this goes, because what we will do. I'm gonna get on this for just a minute, and I really want your opinion on this, bro. Is if they see a football game. And they start carrying around their little Nerf football. Mm-hmm. And they make one cut. Mm-hmm. Boy, I'm sure looking for every football league in my city to sign them up for at 2 years old. Oh, that's a good jump cut right there. Oh, no, he was just dodging the blanket. Right. That's all that was. Oh, my goodness. We will invest countless hours into buying these cones and hurdles. Mm-hmm. And going out in the backyard and laboring in the heat. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. Again, if you do, that's your prerogative. But as LeBron said, we got enough LeBrons. We got enough of those. Can we pour into being more doctors? Yeah. Can we get more lawyers? Mm-hmm. More astrophysicists? Mm-hmm. More, chemists? Yep. More CEOs? More authors. Mm-hmm. We have so many of these, that want to go be the next Mike, want to go be the next Michael Vick, want to go be the next Kobe. Okay, because I grew up playing sports. Right. Loved it. Right. Loved it. But if my kids never pick up a ball, my feelings aren't going to be hurt. Nope. They're not going to be hurt, because I would rather invest thousands into them going to the science camp, into them going to, piano lessons, into them going, to do many other things than I would taking up all of my Saturday. Yeah. To run around and snatch a flag off somebody. When you've already expressed interest. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
I think as a community we have to refocus. We have to shift our focus. Right? Tell me how, it just doesn't make any sense to me as I read the history of my community. It makes no sense to how, as enslaved people, you're able to create. You're using science and technology, engineering and mathematics and the arts to lay the foundation for another nation, not your own, but for another one. Facts. Right? So much so that the things that we use today were created. A lot of them were created by enslaved individuals who do not get the credit for what they created. So to understand that as a community, this is a part of your particular heritage, but you buy into the falsehood and the false negative narrative that the only thing that you can do is entertain the masses. Ooh. We have to change that, and we have to be intentional and extremely purposeful, and that comes to us as fathers. Mm-hmm. Yes, I see you make the jump cut. That's awesome. That's naturally what you can do. That's a part of your DNA. That's easy. So let's also get over here to the other side, to this astronomy and zoology, this botany, astrology, right? Because this too is also a part of your actual history.
Facts.
This too, right?
Speak on it.
Before we had Socrates, we had Imhotep. 2,000 years before, but no one wants to talk about that, though. You want to take a Hippocratic oath, right? That's not what it should be. Okay, but nobody really wants to talk about that. So it's our job as fathers to educate, again, those inside of our realm as to actually what is a part of who you are and what you're actually capable of.
You know what I saw the other day? It just goes along with what you were just talking about. But this British historian, he and this black lady, I believe she was a historian as well. They were taught. He was asking her something about Rome, and they got on the subject of Caesar, right? And he said many people believe Caesar conquered Britain. He said it was actually the African emperor.
That's right.
Of Rome.
That's right.
He said in the Museum of London, one of the busts in there is the African emperor.
Right.
And then he showed her a picture. He said, "You can see,
yes,
he has black skin.
Yes,
with his family, but they don't teach you about that."
He
said when they built the walls, he called it. I can't remember the exact phrase, but it was something London. He said that's why the city, called London.
Right.
I was like, no, that's not. Oh, y'all don't want to give that out in school?
No,
I can't learn about him.
No, why?
Even during Black History Month.
Like no.
Even in Black History Month,
no,
one of the greatest empires known to in the modern era, the Roman Empire. At 33, I just learned about literally 2 days ago.
Right.
That's probably my fault for not seeking out the knowledge.
True, but it just happened because you're in position to seek knowledge that you come across that. Right.
My mind was literally blown. Rome had an African emperor.
Right. Yeah.
And he was out conquering lands.
Right.
That's crazy.
The key to it all is, hey, we know the old adage, you want to hide something from black folks, where do you hide it?
In a book.
In a book. Right? So as a child, when my mother told me this, I took the inverse.
Gotta read.
You're not going to hide anything from me. I'm going to understand where to know what is truth. Where is it? It's in these books. And I've come to find over the course of this life that this is the case.
Facts.
In these books, right? They're going to tell you. So one of the hot topics here of late has been the Trail of Tears. Okay? So they'll tell you at the Hall of Congress, they're going to tell you they kept a record of exactly what happened there. You really want to know what happens? They're going to tell you they kept the record. It's right there. Versus, like you said, what they actually teach in school. See, if the system is set up to only keep you in a particular place, so now we're talking about placism, then I'm going to give you the narrative of what history actually is. I'm going to tell you that you're black. That has no place as to exactly speaks to your origin.
Who you are.
So I'm going to call you black, so therefore I can erase who you are and what you are, and then I'm going to give you this narrative of what your history is.
And then the crazy thing is they want to say that black is the void, the absence. But again, I'm not a physicist. But black holes, they have such a mass because of the energy.
Right.
Is that have you heard that?
That is very true.
Because of the energy inside.
Right.
So it's not an absence of.
Right.
It's because what's contained in there is so powerful.
Yes.
Black is the combination of all color. It is not a void of anything, but it encompasses all things. We digress. We digress. Yep. And one thing, back to, like you said, being, cultivating, and having those conversations, guys, as again looking into the history of who, what we are. If you want kings, understand you have to cultivate kings.
Yep.
If you want queens, you have to cultivate queens.
That's right.
Because when you go back to Egypt, what were they doing? In those bloodlines, when you were born into those bloodlines, that's what you were cultivated.
Right. Here's the standard. Here are the things that you must learn. This is a part of you becoming king, becoming queen. Here is what you have to learn. I'm going to teach you of your history. I'm going to teach you of these sciences. I'm going to teach you of these mathematics. I'm going to teach you of the social sciences so that you understand how to be king and queen.
Because to entertain the masses was beneath us.
Yep.
That was folly.
Yep.
We were out learning edicts and writing laws.
Pretty much.
Creating the law. Passing it down.
The interesting thing about law, I'll say this real quick and we'll move on. The thing about law originally is because it dealt in harmony. The principle of ma'at. It's an Eastern thing, right? It's nothing to do with this Western law. The Western law is not law because it can be changed at any point in time for those who actually created the law system. Okay. The original law is such that the law is the law. And you as a human being, as a society, as a culture, adjust to that. You don't adjust the law, bring it back down to where you are. But I'm going to leave that alone.
Is that not what the book say? That I come not to destroy the law. Because the law was given by the Father.
Right. The Creator.
So we cannot change it.
No.
He just gave us a little grace. But the law still applies.
Hey.
as we digress. As we digress. But, fathers, again, to help your children get to where they want to be, one, you need to be on your way there.
Yes.
Because the road will become easier for them if you have traveled it.
Yep.
If I've never been to Dallas, I don't know how to get there. Right. So that first journey, I might be a little nervous. I might miss a turn or two. Okay, but once I travel this road, and then when they get, hey, I'm gonna go. Oh, hey, you need to take this. If there's construction on 35, you might take 75, or you might take 35 down to this town, get off, and go this way. Right. If I've never flown, it might be a little scary. I might be a little nervous. But after that, hey, if I've never graduated college, oh, hey, Dad, I see you got your degree. This is how I did it. This is how I studied. This is how I XYZ. Oh, hey, Dad, I see you started a business. Yeah, the first one didn't go so well. But the second time we did that thing, it was amazing. Oh, hey, I see you got your real estate license. Hey, this is how I did it. This is why I did it. This is why we went in this manner.
That's right.
So as a people, fathers, now we create generational things. We create generations of realtors, doctors, lawyers, all of these things. Because if you pass it down, it just becomes easier. And we create that wealth. And we do what we want to do for our children. Because we should all want for them to do better than we did. To as our mentor tells us all the time, to blow us out the water. To do what we could never have imagined doing. But as fathers, it starts with us.
That's right.
Jesse, in this episode of Fatherhood, as we get out of here, what would you say is, in that transitioning from when your kids, obviously, up until the time, when they're, just at home, watching Daniel Tiger, watching some Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, then when they start getting into school, what is one of the most important things for fathers to be doing in that time?
Man, you're making sure that they're developing in a way that is commensurate with who they are. So if you're able to impart to them that they are a king, they are a queen, then you understand you have to have foreseeability as to where they are going. So, we're right now with the Mickey Mouse and all this other stuff, but understand that's only for a small period of time.
Small season.
Because I have to get you going, prepare you for the next season, to where you're going to be challenged. You're going to be challenged by a system that thinks you're less than. Okay? So because of that, it's my job to make sure that not only do you meet that particular standard, that you meet our standard. And our standard has to be higher than that which is presently set, just because the overarching thought is, because you have more melanin, you're incapable.
Facts.
Right?
Facts, but how can you tell the king he can't be king? When he was born into kingship. Fathers, what I want to leave you guys with is this, at this time, again, I can't, drive home the point enough that how we speak to our children, the language of a loser or the language of a winner, is highly important. It's highly important, and affirmations are such an important part. But so many of us as fathers, we begin to drift. We don't tell ourselves what we're capable of. So you need to first get yourself an affirmation and tell yourself that you're great. Tell yourself you're a king. Tell yourself that you can do amazing things. And know it might not happen the next day. No, it might not happen in a week. It might not happen in a month. But no tree grows in a month. No tree grows in a year. It takes some time for it to sprout out the ground. It takes some tilling of the ground. It takes some nurture, some seasons, going through some storms. It takes some things. So continue to tell yourself that you're great. Continue to tell yourself all the things that you are and not what you're not. And when somebody tells you what you're not, cut them off.
Facts.
Cut them off. We'll be back with you guys next week, family. We sure do appreciate you guys for tuning in with us today. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Hope you guys were able to listen, learn, and grow.